Lots of dog stories today on a wacky, wild, maybe a little weird Wednesday. Going on none more than a snake on the menu, hit in and out. Maybe not quite that. In some places, snake's considered a delicacy. They charge you big money for that. They found a python at the Monrovia In and Out Burger. Let's see what the ABC 7 report says on that. Here we go.
At 11, no, it's not animal style. That's a snake, not a shake. In-N-Out workers in Monrovia got this slithery surprise at the drive-thru. One of the employees making the discovery yesterday and brought the python to the Pasadena Humane Society. The nonprofit says the snake seems to be well taken care of and may have recently.
That's a snake, not a shake. Only Mark Brown can pull that off. I don't know how he does it. That guy's absolutely fabulous on that. But maybe you get it. Maybe that's a new deal for In-N-Out. Maybe they'll come up with the snake shake. That's a good one. Maybe we'll start a new trend. Maybe I'll come out with a Roy Snake Shake line. Grind a snake and put it in your shake. Oh gosh, we got to have a little fun. All the other stuff going on. Oh, the fattest bear contest is on. We have a winner, appropriately named Chunk. Chunk, the 1,200-pound bear, is this year's Fat Bear Winner of the Week. And he definitely looks like he hasn't been missing many meals. I don't know if somebody's feeding him or he's that expert a hunter or if he's raiding the local meat locker. But he does look like he's well fed. 1,200 pounds of bear. Dang. 6 times heavier than the average human being. And if you went back 50 years, that would be about 8 times heavier than the average human being. But story for a different day. But we have a winner in the Fat Bear of the Week. Best trolling president. By far, hands down, isn't even close. Donald J. puts this one out.
It's a disgusting video, and we're going to continue to make clear bigotry will get you nowhere. We are fighting to protect the health care of the American people in the face of an unprecedented Republican assault.
That guy is something else. I mean, you put on, after the first video that put up,
disgusting.
I don't know if they did it or what, but then he does another troll post on top of that, and they deserve the hell out of it. Wanting to fund illegal aliens and all that. We'll have some more updates. Oh, there was another one. This wasn't a Trump one, but I thought it was pretty good. Of that, here we go. Oh man. So there's some creative people going on out there. Sombreros and that. Oh man, we're gonna have a lot of fun today. This wacky, weird, and wild Wednesday. But to put the blame where it is, and we said, don't let the cancer of California eat you alive, and it has. It has done that to California time and time again. They test pilot all this stuff here, like the healthcare for illegals. Then, voila, it's clear across the country. It's the healthcare con. We've ran it. This is the lobbyist that thinks them out. And it's because of California. This is where they started the healthcare for illegals, the healthcare for everybody, yada, yada, yada. Nancy Pelosi, you don't need to read the bill. Wait till we pass it, and then you'll find out what a hosing you've got. Here's a little clip, and maybe we'll get into a little bit more of it. But the real reason the government shutdown is because of California. Here's the young lady lobbyist.
Wrapping up the day here at Capitol Hill, it looks like, unfortunately, I think the government is going to shut down, and a large part of that is the Democrats not happy with the Medicaid cuts that were made as part of the big, beautiful bill. And so I was talking to a few Republican members here, and I got to actually talk to Rand Paul. I actually was able to talk with him in the elevator about this issue. So I think the sticking point for Medicaid with the Democrats is, let's take California, for example. California has a high demographic of individuals that are not here legally. And prior to the expansion of healthcare for them, the hospitals were inundated with people they could not handle. And so when that expansion happened and immigrants who are here, undocumented immigrants that are here, were able to get insurance, all of a sudden, you then had this new kind of revenue stream that came in not only to the hospitals, but now to all these doctors and providers in California. So if this big, beautiful bill and the Medicaid mandates go into place, I think what will happen in California will be a catastrophe.
Yes. It will be a catastrophe for the establishment, pharmaceuticals, humongous hospitals like Kaiser and such that have profited off of this whole thing. That's why it was in there. It wasn't to give you more health care, because you're getting less health care, half the health care, 3 times the cost. Trump's trying to straighten this out. The Democrats not only want to do this, they want to expand this not only across the nation, worldwide. It was what the COVID con was about, and a lot of this stuff. We'll get into it hopefully deeper here either today or later on in the week. Were we lied to? Were we lied to about the whole Jurupa volleyball team with A.B. Hernandez, the boy and the girls team, and everybody on the team just loved A.B. and glad he was on the team? And it was all us racist homophobes. We've heard it. On top of that, the mom, A.B.'s mom, please come in here. Let's have a discussion about it. You want to make a tax? Well, you're sitting up there on TV, or you're got your 3 minutes or 2 minutes or whatever at the school board. Let's devote an hour to it. This was posted by the attorneys that have been working on a lot of cases, Caitlin and Taylor, the ones at RUSD, 2 girls on the cross-country team, I think Jessica Tapia, Sonia Shaw, and a lot of others. They dropped this one, I think, yesterday. Here we go.
I'm a player at Jurupa Valley High School. I'm speaking up because I've been manipulated to believe that playing with a male is safe. I'm here to tell you that males competing in female sports is not safe. Males have physical advantages such as muscle mass and strength, which can lead to physical harm and unfair competition for female athletes.
We've been talking about this in my last one, when AB's mom was there, when we were talking about this at Riverside Unified at the school board meeting. And I said, hey, you're playing something with a projectile in it. You're playing a contact, even though not physical contact person to person, but, the volleyball can hit you in the head. You could suffer a basal skull fracture from somebody hitting a volleyball hard enough, hitting you in the head, and breaking your neck. And when you do that, it's almost instantaneous death. If you want to go look it up, the most famous guy that died of a basal skull fracture was Dale Earnhardt at Daytona, February of 2001. I've seen many guys die of this. I've been in races where guys have died with basal skull fractures. It's not fun. It's about as serious as it gets. We were told time and again, everybody in the group of all the girls just loved AB, wanted him on the team, yada, yada, yada. Well, there's more info. We'll take a little deeper dive into this a bit later on. There's more. JD Vance on this whole con of it is not, repeat, not a government shutdown. Do not use their language. Gosh, just want to grab people and shake them. So we are not adding any more to the debt. We shouldn't add any more to the debt. We should be done with that. We're bringing in $5 trillion a year to the federal government. No, they're pointing a gun at 340 million American citizens and extracting $5.5 trillion of our wealth every year. And then they want to put us in debt for $2 trillion over to fund healthcare for the illegals. Here's a question at the White House presser with VP, the great JD Vance. You.
Okay, go ahead and ask the second question.
So the president's been posting some images of Leader Jeffries and Senator Schumer.
I saw.
Personally, you've said that you're interested in good faith negotiations with these leaders, but what message does that send? Is it helpful to post pictures of Leader Jeffries in a sombrero if you're trying to have good faith talks with him?
Is it helpful? Is it helpful if he's posting with a sombrero and a mustache? Oh, I love JD's response. Here we go.
I think it's funny. The president's joking and we're having a good time. You can negotiate in good faith while also poking a little bit of fun at some of the absurdities of the Democrats' positions and even, poking some fun at the absurdity of the Democrats themselves. I mean, I'll tell Hakeem Jeffries right now, I make this solemn promise to you that if you help us reopen the government, the sombrero memes will stop. And I talked to the president of the United States about that.
Well, there you go. Jeffries, you don't want the sombrero and mustache memes and making actually really with humor what it's supposed to do. Even though humor is funny in that, there is usually a lot of truth and a lot of truth people won't say. But those memes are absolutely fantastic. What is the biggest thing with the Democratic Party, Schumer and Jeffries, the two leaders, two top Democrats in the United States? Healthcare for illegals. Can't get rid of that. Boy, do we need some big time reforms in our government. El pronto. Russ Vought, who's director of Office of Management and Budget, nearly $8 billion in green new scam funding to fuel the leftist climate agenda is being canceled. More to come from Ad Energy projects in the following states. Of course, California, number one. Practically all of them are left wing or off the charts. Delaware, Hawaii, Illinois, Oregon, Vermont, Washington, New Jersey, New Hampshire, Colorado, Connecticut. You don't see any red states in there. That's why it's a new green scam. Hopefully Russ Vought, and I got a lot of confidence in Russ, he's a solid guy. Start cutting, firing. This time don't lay them off. Start firing en masse federal workers, pencil pushers, brooms and shovel leaners, and all this other stuff. Get rid of the 80% that aren't doing the work. Keep the 20%, which is kind of the standard rule of government employees. 20% of the workers do 80% of the work. 80% of the workers our shovel standards. Time we get back to a little sanity. And we do this, we can run. We can run. This government, Defense Department, all the functions of the federal government on $5 trillion without borrowing a penny. Jackie Norris, who was chief of staff for Michelle Obama, now was the president of Des Moines Polk County Schools, 30,000, that hired the illegal alien. She's still trying to defend this fool, who the state of Iowa yesterday said, we're pulling his ticket. He can no longer be a superintendent. They had to finally accept his resignation. Holy cow. And she's still trying to defend him.
Ms. Norris. Here. We will begin with a brief board statement. Tonight, we are here to act on the district's contract with Superintendent Dr. Ian Roberts. Friday morning, everything changed for all of us, including Dr. Roberts. The individual who was leading our district with energy and enthusiasm was detained by ICE agents.
The person who was leading our district with energy and enthusiasm, the dude promised to raise test scores, student achievement. He failed. Maybe we should subpoena the text messages between Jackie Norris and illegal Roberts. See what was really going on. Or the rest of the story, as the late Paul Harvey used to say. We got this and much, much more to come up on today's Wacky, Weird, and Wild Wednesday. Plus, hopefully we'll have Susan Shelley in at the bottom of the hour. We'll get her insights on this and check out her columns and get an update on Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association and all their dealings. It's going to be fun. Of course it is. It's always fun. Everything is always fun. Oh man, what a day. I really like the absolute gaslighting we've had. Overall, funding of illegal healthcare. Oh, we got to have that. The shut down the government. We're not shutting down the government. I wish Trump and everybody would quit saying that. This is not what we're doing. We are now not borrowing any more money. You have to spend the $5+ trillion we already gave you to run the federal government. Figure it out. Man, the gaslighting. Is tremendous. We've had the whole boys and girls sports locker rooms and stuff. Everybody says it's an 80-20 issue, like Trump says. It's probably 97-3. There's always a few nutcases that stray off the reservation. But to bring it down to our area, the Inland Empire, one of the fastest growing regions in the world, already in a pace or is already the second biggest metro area behind LA, surpassing the San Fran area. We've had this in the news almost all the time between the great Sonia Shaw, the president of Chino Valley School Board, was pushing the parental notification, Temecula, Murrieta, Orange County did it, a couple up there, I think Roseville, and a few up in Northern California. We were one of the few, those were some of the few that really pushed on getting the schools open during the COVID or with the COVID con debacle. But it's really been boiling down the Inland Empire with this whole Jurupa Valley deal. First started with A.B. Hernandez, a boy who was winning the high jumps and the track state championships, whatever. Okay, no contact, no nothing between any individuals or any objects or anything on track and field mostly. So doing the high jump, long jump, the medal thing and all that. Let's set that aside. Then it comes to volleyball. And again, now you have a projectile, a volleyball that can be hit at a speed that can kill you. But then we were told all the girls on the Jurupa Valley volleyball team were just hands down, loved AB, loved using the locker room, yada, yada, yada. You just heard the first young lady on the intro. Let's roll some more from advocates for faith and freedom on their broadcast. We're going to see if we get these guys on. Sure, it would be interesting, but here we go.
All female athletes deserve the right to compete in a safe environment.
My name is Hadil Hazamut, a current senior and student athlete at Jurupa Valley High School. For the past 4 years, us female athletes have had our privacy stripped away from us due to a biological male changing in the women's locker room. Due to my religious beliefs, I cannot change in front of this biological male. The only solution my school has given me is for me to change in a different setting or a different room. Why do the biological women have to change elsewhere when our Title IX rights are supposed to protect us and give us this privacy? No female athlete should have to endure this.
My name is Madison McPherson. I'm a collegiate volleyball player, and I'm speaking up because of the lack of fairness I experienced as a female athlete at Jurupa Valley High School due to the fact that a biological male has been allowed to compete on the girls' teams. Scientific studies have shown that biological males have an advantage over female athletes. But we don't need a study to show us how truly discouraging it is for female athletes to compete and lose to them. It is simply unfair and undermines decades of progress in women's sports.
My name is Alyssa McPherson.
Yes, it's erased decades. Title IX, we came up with that 50 years ago. It was supposed to even all this stuff out. Actually, it was taking money from the boys' men's sports and put it in the girls' sports and high schools and colleges. So, fine, okay. Not discrimination, we're giving you some more bucks. Have fun. Compete. Hopefully get the scholarships. If you're a good enough athlete, you'll get a scholarship. You'll even have the spot of learning competition and how to teamwork and all that you learn in everything you learn in sports, which is, even if you don't get that, very valuable lessons you'll learn. But this is, the fact that we're even talking about this is totally ridiculous. But then again, the lie, weren't we told? Oh, all the girls on the Jurupa Valley volleyball team and everywhere and going to PE and everything else, they just loved having AB, the boy, in their locker room and in their bathrooms and all. They just loved him to death. The thoughts and images and outcomes of that but just from the pure standpoint of, oh, we were presented with this, now we're coming out with these videos. Here's another one from the Advocates of Faith and Freedom. They were on a Newsmax. Hopefully, here we go.
Are being told that you have to accept this. If you don't accept this, even in this case, it's going to affect your future, your college career, your ability to play at a collegiate level. This has to stop. And this litigation is going to address that. I think this case in particular, there are numerous issues of what I would say harassment inside the locker room, sexual innuendo, things.
We were told, oh no, none of this is going on. We got this all under control. No sexual innuendos, no contact, no nothing could be. You're just making stuff up. Homophobe, evil white hillbilly, the whole thing. We were told again, this stuff was. It doesn't take since recorded human history. You put male and female together, especially naked. We all know what the outcomes are going to be on that. It's human nature.
Of that nature. In fact, what's even worse is that these girls have been subjected to being patted on the rear end. There's a picture in the complaint with a transgender boy with his hands on the girl's rear end in a huddle. In any other circumstance, with any normal male, this would be completely unacceptable.
Oh, you'd be going to jail most likely. And a lot of guys have. So it's time for all these school districts and stuff and school boards. I don't have a lot of faith in that, but you never say never. That idiot superintendent of public instruction, Tony Thurman, who crime syndicate superintendent out here, Rube, thinks is the greatest guy in the world. Oh, I got his cell phone number. I can get him on the phone anytime. Bragging to me like he's a somebody. No, this stuff has got to be addressed. And there has to be solutions, Brent Lee. Well, you know, but finally, after the last one, I was there, 2 months ago at RUSD. Well, yeah, we are start talking about a solution on this. After 2 years, and now after 2 years of everybody coming up there pointing out the ridiculousness, and I'm trying to be nice, of this whole thing. Then you want to do that. Well, now we kind of want to talk about it a little bit. No. You're a school, you're the president of Riverside USD. You're getting sued by Caitlin and Taylor over the cross-country team thing. Your teams had to forfeit games against, or did forfeit, I guess they didn't have to. They did forfeit games. It's their safety. Go talk to Dr. Tweed. He's on your board too. He was there when I said that about the basal skull fracture. He was nodding his head when I was saying it. Now, I don't know if he's made any other indication of that. We can do the physics of it, but I can pretty much guarantee you a boy, can hit a volleyball hard enough. It strikes you just right. It can cause a basal skull fracture, which is where your spine goes into your brain. And when that severs, you are dead instantly or within milliseconds. And believe me, it's not a pretty sight when it happens. I mean, most of the time you got blood shooting out your mouth, out of your ears when that happens. Like I said, I've seen these happen. I've been in incidents where they've been. So, like I say, it's serious as a freaking heart attack and more. Like I said, this is about as serious as it gets. I don't want to get to the point where we're having some young lady who's killed in one of these sports because they're playing against males, which are more powerful, more, in volleyball, what? The net's 8 inches higher on the boys one than the girls. Why? Because we're bigger, taller, stronger, yada, yada, yada. So let's just stop the gaslighting and the stupidity and the idiocracy. And let's frickin' come up with a solution. Sometimes it's amazing that things got to be this difficult. But it seems like every day we're getting gaslit over this on a daily basis. We just got to learn to, well, we got to be more persistent, got to be sharper, like, don't let them hijack the language on us. Don't let them outnumber us, outshout us, or whatever the rules are at the particular time. It'll be, I mean, I don't know if there's any higher calling than this, but there shouldn't be. If it isn't, there's 1 or 1A. And it works. I want to give you some positive news, as they say. How American conservatives defeated the woke school blob. And the article is very poignant. But what it said was finally the center left, freedom and liberty types, conservatives, stuck to their guns. They didn't cower in the corner. They didn't know because Hakeem Jeffries is crying about him. Trump made a meme of me with a sombrero and a mustache, and shut up. What does Trump do? He throws another one out there. But really, this, in a nutshell, and you go through the whole thing, but it really said the center right is finally getting a backbone. And I think that, in a large part, is due to Donald J. Trump. Because he didn't back down from anybody. Kind of like Charlie Kirk. Didn't shy away from the debate or the questions or the conversation. Look at this whole, hey, we're not spending more than we're taking in debate. Last times it happened, I don't care, Bush, Trump 1.0, Clinton, or whenever the all went down. Everybody was running around in a panic. Oh, what are we going to do? It'll just be, oh, the world's going to fall. We had. And again, I was of the contention they should have done this in April. Give Russ Vogt the red pencil or red pen, just start check marking off stuff. Instead of furlough, and Russ Vogt has said, instead of furloughing, we're just firing people. We don't need this, we don't need that. The Doge cuts, a lot of the Doge cuts can be implemented now because there's not any money in the kitty. They put $18 billion in New York City and whatever con transit thing they're doing on hold. $18 billion. On top of the $8 billion Russ Vogt just cut. Rightly so. In one shot. In the green scam. There it is. $8 billion gone. All these scam projects, all in liberal states. It's
25 seconds, 25.
It's going to be fun. Susan should be calling in, hopefully, anytime soon.
Yep, she is already on the line.
She's already on the line. Wow. Man, things working efficiently. We're going to have to stop that.
Right?
Jesse said we'll be joining
2 seconds. Here we go.
Seconds along with Susan.
IE Newswire Daily is on the air. The following is a paid program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
There's that funky slide guitar music that comes on every Monday through Friday, live at 5:30 on the Mighty Met, 1490 AM, broadcasting all over the Inland Empire on the aforementioned AM band. Join our vast video audience, Flippy Network, Rumble, YouTube, X, all that good stuff. Check us out, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Got a Trump. Man, what a dude. I don't remember. You wake up every day and something new's coming on. Most of it, at least to me, brings a smile on my face or a chuckle. We've been gaslighted on this whole Jurupa volleyball deal. We were told, all the girls on that loved A.B. Hernandez, the boy on the team. Well, we're just running clips now. Now they're speaking out saying, no, that's not the case. And I don't know if it's that case or another one, but the same attorney firm's they're doing many of them. Now they're getting sexual harassment cases and things coming on in these where boys are in the girls' locker room. Who could have ever predicted that? You got naked men and women, or boys and girls, teenagers, hormones raging, walking around. And they're just going to be, talking about what they're going to have for lunch. It's absolutely incredible, but the good thing is finally, I believe, the center-right freedom liberty types are finally getting a little bit of backbone and standing their ground. And that's probably why you're seeing the biggest turnaround, I think, in a lot of this. I think Trump has a lot to do with this. But as we usually do on a Wednesday, we have the famed editorial writer, columnist for the Press Enterprise, San Bernardino Sun, Inland Daily Bulletin, Redlands Daily Facts. More important to me, Vice President of Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association, Susan Chile. Welcome to IE Newswire with Roy.
Thank you, Roy. Always great to be with you.
What do you think? I think a lot of this turnaround you're seeing from the support we're getting for getting boys out of girls' sports, and it's not a government shutdown. We are not spending more than we're taking in. The government is working. The federal government is working just fine. Every other time this has happened, everybody's running around like a chicken with their head cut off. Oh, the world's going to come into the United States going to collapse, anything else. All this other stuff. But I think the leadership of Trump and guys like Charlie Kirk and stuff that have been kind of leading the charge on this and not backing down and taking the questions and engaging in the debate wherever with the other side. I think this has a lot to do with it. What say you, Susan?
Well, I think you're right, but Donald Trump has always been one to stand up to these ridiculous charges and fight back against them. One of his real strengths is that he doesn't care if they call him names. They've called him everything, and he's survived it all. So he's not afraid to put up silly memes that look like an old Warner Brothers cartoon. They're just making fun of accents and sombreros and playing silly music. And he's not afraid that they'll call him a racist. They call him a racist. He doesn't care. And that's kind of a strength. Once you're not afraid of what they're going to call you and you just tell it like you think it is, if people agree with you, you've got tremendous power. And that's what's happened.
And there was one of the reporters' questions. J.D. Vance, our esteemed vice president, was in the White House presser with Caroline Leavitt, our great press secretary. And one of the reporters came on and said, you think, you're just, aren't you demeaning those guys? He said, no. He said, we're having a little fun with it, on and on and on. And again, like I said, the tone is that can completely change the tone of things instead of running around like, oh, the world's on fire, we're all going to burn. They're like, hey, there's everything is. And I said back in April when they did this, I said they should have done it then because like Rust Vote just bumped $8 billion off the green scam stuff, all in very blue states, 18 of them, I think, or 12 of them, all blue states. Just has on hold 18 billion of some scam project, transportation deal they have in New York City, and on and on and on. And this time he says we're not going to furlough workers, government workers, we're just firing them. The Doge cuts are coming. This is the way, and I said it in April, but now we can do it. We can implement more of the Doge cuts in this little bubble we're in right here. What do you think, Susan?
Well, they absolutely. However, reduce the workforce. That's the has to go in place, but the protections against being fired do not extend to our and so they can bring downside. I've always said that when we have a government fire everybody else. Tell everybody else, well, what do you do and why do we need you? If you're not essential, we're going to see that.
Hang on a second there. I don't know if you can hear me. Jesse, can you rerun the phone or something? I'm getting a lot of buzz back on that if you can do that. It'll be 100%. Yeah, I'm getting some weird connection with you. We are in one of these zones where we can actually
I'll call. Okay, bye.
Where we can actually do.
I'm having her call back.
Stuff here. Again, this is one of those opportunities where we're Rust Vote by the getting out the red pen can just go boom, we're done. You're fired. And there's nothing they can do about it. It'll be one of the great, if we can accomplish cutting another $1 trillion off of spending this year, compared to all of what the Doge cuts were, which weren't enough. But
and she's back.
We definitely need to strip I believe, another $1 trillion in spending off of this deal that we've had. And I don't know how close Russ Vote and the team over there at Office of Management and Budget and the whole Trump team can get, but I think they should be aggressively eliminating, firing, getting rid of a lot of the deadwood in the U.S. government that's there, Susan.
I agree with you. They should take out the sharp knives and they should cut away all the waste, and especially all the leftist waste that's embedded in the government from the Obama administration forward. A lot of people who do leftist work and fight the agenda of President Trump try to block everything he wants to do. That has gotten us into a lot of trouble before, and it's time that they were out.
1,000%. I think, again, there's so much deadwood going across in that. I think they should look at not defense spending, but look at military spending. There's a lot of waste in the military budget that needs to be, there's a lot of contracts that can be canceled out of that whole enchilada. I mean, everything should be up on the table. And again, if they keep this rhetoric going, I believe we're going to come out much better. And all the talk like they used to, and all the scare tactics, what's great. And I don't know if we've, maybe the assassination attempts on Trump and the successful one on Charlie Kirk, but maybe it took that to wake people up enough or give them enough strength to say, not no, but hell no, we're going to start fixing this stuff and fixing it right, Susan.
You might be right. The killing of Charlie Kirk took it to another level because he wasn't an office holder. He wasn't a person who should be bothered by other people for his free speech. And not to say that an office holder should be shot, of course not. But he was just a citizen, and he was just talking. And to have that be the target of a political assassination is very, very frightening. And certainly it's a notch too far, no question.
It's been some very interesting times. It's been an interesting, definitely, 8 months that we've had since the Trump administration. And again, the whole tone is, and you said it, the Obama cut, or we're finally getting, or hopefully we'll get rid of funding medical benefits for illegal immigrants. On top of that, and then whatever $2 or $3 or $4 trillion worth of spending that went on, just ridiculous under the Biden regime of the 4 torturous years of that we're having to clean up. I mean, if we took that spending off that was on that we did on the Biden budgets and everything that was expanded, if we just cut back and got back to where when Trump went out in 21, we wouldn't need to borrow a cent. We could run the government on the five. They're collecting $5 trillion plus from us right now to run the federal government. There should be no complaints about money anywhere, Susan Shelley.
Right. Well, you're right. And a big part of the budget is transfer payments from people who are paying taxes to people who are getting tax refund checks without paying taxes. And that's welfare through the tax code. That's the earned income tax credit, the additional child tax credit. There's an education credit. There's a premium tax credit to help with health insurance subsidies. There's a bunch of them where people who have not paid in taxes are getting checks from the Treasury. And then there's tens of billions of dollars every year in what they call improper payments. Because guess what? If you can get a check for filling out a form, a lot of people are going to figure out how to fill out the form and get the check. And that has been a huge problem because they don't want to call it welfare. And so now what you see is the Republicans cleaned up some of this phony spending on people who are not intended to be on Medicaid or Medi-Cal. They cleaned that up in the one big beautiful bill, and the Democrats want to reverse those provisions so the fraud can continue. And really, fraud has a constituency in the Democratic Party, and they're fighting for them. So it's not a good situation for taxpayers, and I applaud the Republicans for standing up to it.
Shifting gears a little bit, one of your columns this week, the proper indictment of James Comey, con man Comey, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
Go.
Well, just days before the statute of limitations was going to expire, he was indicted for lying to Congress, making false statements that interfered with an investigation. He was indicted by a grand jury in Virginia, and he's going to face these charges. He could serve prison time for this. There may be additional charges in some sort of new indictment, a superseding indictment, I think they call it. But at the moment, he has been indicted for lying in his testimony to Congress. And what was he lying about? Oh, nothing. Just whether they completely lied about saying Donald Trump was a Russian agent and that they had all of this evidence of collusion. That's what he lied about. And whether he leaked it to the press to try and keep that story and that investigation going, that's what he lied about. So, nothing important, just sabotaging the whole first term of Donald Trump. And I think there should be some accountability for that. I'm glad that they were able to indict him.
Yes, I don't know. I mean, those cases are usually hard to win.
Mhm.
I'm not necessarily optimistic that, I give him 50-50 at best to getting a conviction on that. But hopefully with this coming out that it will lead to more on or off deeper dive into what was going on, because this is, of all the things that Comey has done or allegedly has done or that we have evidence that he's implicated in, this is a lightweight charge per se of what he's done. Now I understand he's run a lot of statute of limitations and all the other legal mumbo jumbo that he might be able to get away with this, but we need some sharp legal guys, and they can obviously, after going through this or through further investigation or further evidence come up, they could possibly make charges come from other aspects of this that might be, let's say, easier to get convictions on, because this stuff, all of it, COVID con, Russiagate, the fraud that's been going on, the outright stealing, Congress and members getting inside information and then trading on stocks and whatever. This is not going to stop until people are actually going to Leavenworth and breaking rocks 12 hours a day and then going over to their 8x10 cell to sleep for the other 12 hours a day, Susan Shelley.
Well, I think you're right. And the risk, I guess, for everybody is who testifies against somebody like James Comey, and who does James Comey testify against? Because the list of people who keep getting named by J.D. Vance and Trump and others is Comey, Clapper, Brennan, Lisa Monaco. There's a list that they keep repeating of people who were involved in this, and Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. So there's no telling where this could end if they really seriously follow it. And I think they have to, because if they don't, it's going to happen again. If there's no accountability for what was done here, because it's so serious that they just tried to completely undermine the President of the United States and his elected administration in 2016. They just 2017 when he took office, they completely spied on him, lied to the FISA court, lied to the press, used the news reports to open an FBI investigation and the FBI investigation to justify more news reports. They got the Mueller investigation going with James Comey's leaked memos, which violated FBI policy. And all of these things, it was a giant conspiracy among all of these people in the intel and law enforcement agencies and the federal government trying to bring down the elected president of the United States and falsely accuse him of colluding with another country. And half the country still believes that he did. That's how effective all of this nonsense was. So there has to be some accountability for this, or it's going to go down in history as how you deal with your opponents.
Yeah, I mean, if our government, which is this is supposed to be one of the biggest no-nos, is the government interfering in elections one way or the other, or trying to shape them. They weren't investigating crimes that they had evidence that Trump may have committed. They were trying to stop him from being president in 2016. Plain and simple. They've said that time and again. Multiple people, from Comey on down to Strunk and Page and all them other clowns, Clapper and the whole crew over there, set up by Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton, were orchestrating this whole thing and weaponizing the government to interfere in elections. You talk about regime change or picking your leaders. There is, they shout democracy or whatever. They're the ones, and like I said, they're the ones violating this the most, Susan.
Yeah, and then you get to the 2020 election and what was done there, and, more will be revealed, but what we already know is bad enough. They messed with the 2020 election. Perhaps COVID was partially an excuse for messing up the 2020 election with all postal mail voting and all the rest of it. So there's a lot that was done that hasn't yet come fully to light, and I think it all has to come out, everything they did. And everyone who did it, no matter how highly placed, there has to be accountability for what went on. Even if someone like Barack Obama has immunity because he was president, someone like Hillary Clinton does not have immunity. And I know there's the statute of limitations, but a conspiracy is different. It's calculated differently on the calendar. So we will see what happens, but I think this is way long overdue. And I know that personally, from watching scandal after scandal, I'm pretty tired of watching everyone get away with everything. And I hope that there is accountability.
Your other column this week, and I think most all public officials, but your column this week is Los Angeles officials could use a remedial math course, Susan Shelley.
Oh, my goodness. So they approved this ridiculous plan that for 10 years they have turned down and refused to go forward with. They approved this ridiculous plan to expand and refurbish the Los Angeles Convention Center. The most expensive it can possibly be. There were alternatives that were less expensive. Oh, no, we're going to do the biggest, most expensive. They don't have the money. They're going to do bonds. They're borrowing money. The city of Los Angeles, but they're going to borrow money to do this and try to get it done before the Olympics. Every sensible person says they can't get it done by the Olympics, even if they work 6 days a week and nobody ever gets sick or takes a day off. And there's no delay for approving anything. Good luck with that. So they can't get it done before the Olympics. They may have to move some of the events that are scheduled to be at the convention center, like fencing and judo, I think, and I don't know what else. It's a horror. And even the communist who is the controller of the city of Los Angeles, Kenneth Mejia, he was endorsed by the Democratic Socialists of America. He came to office promising that he would use his office to crack down on police violence. That was where he was situated on the political spectrum. It's too much for him. He said the way the city does its finances boggles his mind. He said it's going to be an extra $104 million a year in interest for 30 years. He has no idea where they're going to get that money. It's completely reckless. So yes, they need a remedial course in math. All they're doing is being wishful that if they award all the contracts to their friends, somehow the money to pay for them will be somebody else's problem.
Yeah, our problem. That's the big problem.
Exactly, our problem.
Yeah, this all winds up being our problem on the whole horizon. On that, wow, we got about a minute left. Tell them how we can hopefully one organization that will get it off of our problem, like they did Prop 13. Tell them how they can join Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association. Go.
The Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association is at hjta.org, hjta.org. You can go to that website and click join and be a member of this great organization. Strengthen your voice in California politics. Cancel the U-Haul. Stay and fight for a better California, for reasonable taxation and having the money spent sensibly so that things go well and get fixed. The Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association is fighting for you in the courts, in the legislature, and on the ballot. And you can go to saveprop13.com and help us get this important initiative on the ballot next year that will save Prop 13 and stop all of these efforts to make it easier to raise your taxes. Very important. SaveProp13.com. Print the petition at home, sign it, mail it in. Save Prop 13. hjta.org and saveprop13.com.
Thanks for being on, Susan. We'll do it again next week.
Thank you, Roy.
You got it. Man, this has been I would say, a complicated day. We've had the normal BS going on. But again, like Trump, he makes things fun. Like the other day with the pictures of the Trump 2028 hats. Monday when he had Jefferson Schumer in there talking about, hey, we're just not, you know what? We're not funding healthcare for illegals anymore. We're done. We should have emergency care. Nobody's going to take that away. But if you come in the hospital and you're not from this country, oh, guess what? We got some deportation orders from you. You're headed back to Guatemala or wherever. Soon as you are stabilized, if you're in this country legally and lawfully, you've got nothing to worry about. If you're not, you shouldn't be here. This is not your home where you are supposed to be. You're not supposed to be sucking services and getting the government to point a gun at us, the American citizen, and giving you our money. Period. End of story. And it appears that day is getting to be in the rear view mirror, and none too soon it can happen. Because we just, as they say, we have been on an unsustainable path for far too long. And it's about time we started getting our act together. We're going to roll up a few locale stories before we roll out. The Menifee cop who was arrested on various sexual charges. The victim count is now up to 5, as has been reported in the SB Sun. Arrest and death. This one's kind of strange. Cops got called domestic violence. The woman didn't want to press charges, but they arrested the guy anyway. Well, several hours later, the woman winds up being, the relatives are calling, she's shot dead. Now, they had a $500,000 bail. I don't know if he produced that or what, or if it was the same guy. Manuel Rivera was, Avery King was the one who eventually wound up deceased. This is a very strange story. Again, several hours after his arrest, the cops did finally arrest Manuel Rivera. Several hours later, they're called back to the house, people saying, hey, she's deceased. And they said, very strange case. We're definitely going to follow this one. Again, don't let the cancer of California run across that. We're going to do this tomorrow. But this is a University of California Irvine professor. Abolishing whiteness has never been more urgent. Mark Levine. Public Safety Open House is coming to Rancho Cucamonga this Saturday, so if you're so inclined, do that. High on cocaine. 6 tons, over 12,750 pounds of cocaine was seized off the coast of Florida. Worth, what, $95 billion? There's that death investigation going on. Good snakes. Don't kill the king snakes or the black snakes. They take care of the rattlers on that. Sheriff Chad claims he has a threat. He's been getting threats on that, but that'll wrap it up for today in this Wicked Weird Wednesday. Take it away, Jesse. That'll do it for today.
All right. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
So here's a little tip.
Yeah.
I was trying to do it, but maybe because we're going through, but when you hear somebody start, or you see the phone start going
twitching.
crazy, well, yeah, or just say A.
Yeah.
Because that'll flip the cell towers around. Sometimes that'll usually about 90% of the time, that'll do it. So when you first hear it starting to go bad, just say A and see if it clears it out.
Okay, no problem.
You got it.
All right, bye.